go in and tickle someone. You just stab them in the back until they're dead.
We did a one-shot where I was like, okay, I'd never played a cleric, and it was like, it's Tomb of Annihilation, make a character of level 50, and I was like, oh great, yeah, okay, we'll make a cleric, and like the list of spells, and I'd like finished this up like 3 hours before we were going to play, and it's like, I have no idea what I'm doing here, and I've been lost without D&D Beyond having a big list, and I still didn't know what I was doing. It's like, I'm probably missing like everything good I could do here, you know, because
it's what's nice to go slow. You get to know your character over time.
I can definitely say that D&D Beyond has helped a lot to learn this game.
Yeah, it's really good.
Just by creating a new character and trying that spell. Okay, what is that?
Yeah,
it's really handy. It's a great reference in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, gentlemen, roll a d20 and let's get this party started with my brand new dice. Oh, I rolled it off the table. It's metal.
They're metal.
Yeah.
Nice. I can hear the quality from
metal with an enamelled, aren't they?
I don't know whether they're enamelled, but they very.
It looks a bit like it.
They are very heavy. You can hear a very solid bump on the table.
You need a nice dice tray there, Mark. Don't want to damage anything.
Oh mate, this is an IKEA tabletop. It's immune to damage. Either that or I don't care whether it gets damaged.
Yeah, it's like that's more the point.
Either way.
What is the other thing?
All right. How do we go? Let's have a look. Sorry, I'm now trying to jump between things. What do we have here to start this session? 11, 18, 11, 10, and I don't see Toe.
13.
Why do I not see you?
I don't see it either.
I don't see him either. I wouldn't trust him. I think he's lying.
How come I can see it?
Pick a number nicely in the middle of all the other ones. It'll be fine.
It's good to choose. You picked 13. What a surprise. Cool. All right. Anyway, let's. There's Constantine got a 10. Let's go with him. I'll trust you there, Toe, and make sure we roll. Oh, it's just popped up now.
What do you need to do?
Yeah, see? Yeah, 13.
There you go. Cool. Constantine, feel free to explain what happened last session and see if you can get yourself a
prize.
Did I not get a prize last time? You didn't say whether I did or not.
No, you didn't. If you can't remember whether you did from last session, I can't remember whether you did, but I think that was the start of Constantine's thing. We started last session, and Garavid failed his attempt.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Garavid didn't get a prize. We got through this little broken wall here, and were met with a troll who started off telling us to get out of his cave. We had a little bit of a nosy round. Some more spore creatures came down from the ceiling between us and the troll, which we subsequently dispatched. The troll kept telling us to leave and was being rather intimidating. Toe went up and tried to kind of confront the troll. The evidence suggests that the troll attacked first. And so we did what we had to do, and
he did.
And Cirrus put like a holding spell on the troll, which basically gave us carte blanche to beat the living crap out of him, and subsequently he died. And so then we ended up exploring this section of cave where the troll had been doing some work or some tinkering around in this section of cave. And in order for us to see what was behind the rocks that had fallen down. Garavid, despite being told not to,
Oh,
fired an eldritch blast at the rubble, which then caused even more rubble to come through.
it was a good idea.
It was a good idea, just at the wrong place, at the wrong
Poorly
time.
executed, I think. They
Poorly
said.
executed. So we were left with trying to work out what we thought the troll might be doing and how we could get through. So I used the blink dagger to pop into the ethereal plane to see if I could see anything past the rubble, and ended up in this sort of area, and I could sense that there was another cave kind of ahead of me, but below us, but with no evidence of how to really get there. So came back. We then had a bit more of a discussion about what we should do. Should we pick rocks up? Should we smash them? Cirrus, I think you cast like a thunderclap spell. He says
Shatter or something.
shatter. It was a shatter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shat on it.
And that didn't work. So I think we basically went, you know what? None of this is going to work. Let's all leave. Because there's nothing more we can do here. We're not getting anywhere. So we all left, and we all had a jolly nice walk out into the fresh air, where we were met by the sun and a nice rest. And that's where we left it. Now we are outside.
Very nice. So, one or two things to think. I believe I'll give you an inspiration out of that. That was a relatively good thing. I believe that it was Toe. Believe that it was Toe that did the hold person
Okay. Apologies.
on the troll. Interestingly enough, hold person worked on this troll just for future reference, as I put in the after game chat. Just generally works on humanoids. For some reason, this troll knew a little bit of common and somewhat humanoid somehow. The other thing was that the creatures in the pond and the pool were not there anymore as you left, and you've headed out to the outside of the cave. Had a nice nap at the entrance of the cave, feeling like you have cleared it off, and everyone had leveled up at this point in time to level 4. I don't know whether Toe, I don't see it in D&D Beyond that you've leveled up, but please just double check that as you're getting underway. You had basically headed... What was that?
Does that mean we had a long rest?
Yeah, when you got to the entrance of the cave, you sat down. You had gone into the cave actually in the night time. Because it was dark already, using the light from a manual to get through, and also some of this bioluminescence. And as you came out, you rested at the exit of the cave, which would mean that Toe, you will have reverted back to yourself, to your true form, and that is where we will pick it up from there. So, you wake up the next day having taken different watches, nothing but the flow of this small trickling waterfall from inside the cavern, a little bit of sort of fresh air coming through with some of the bioluminescence sort of keeping some light for you to sit and chat overnight. You heard as you went to sleep the flora and fauna, or the fauna sort of thriving, and birds arriving into the trees, some larger rabbits and other creatures sort of starting to make their way towards the cave entrance, which you hadn't noticed prior to that. And you all are refreshed and awake, ready to continue your journey. It's been around it's been 5 sleeps since you left Newbark on this journey to the farmstead to help open up the trade line again, and it's probably been 3 long rests actually in this sort of dying-ish forest that has a little bit of life to it at this moment in time. What would you like to do?
So my cloudy friend, do we know where this second cave might be? We might find more interesting water sources and more wonderful creatures of the woods and caves to study.
Well, I mean, especially maybe different shades of grey inside the next cave as well, which let's not forget things like that.
We can but hope.
Well, quite, that is very much the spirit. I'm not sure where the next cave might be, but if I may, before we travel, I believe it's you, Constantine, who was the first to be infected by these twisted creatures and their
That's
spores.
right.
Yes,
I took a lungful when that Feather woman exploded.
I see. Now, I haven't managed to read this book, but if I may, I'm going to try and if I may speak a prayer, and I'm more focused on what my God sort of speaks of. You know, there's a sort of this balance between the sacred and the secular can be quite a tricky one for sometimes, but I speak to Akadi, the Lady of the Winds, a holy symbol, a cloud, as you can imagine, does speak a lot to me. You see it on my shield, and I say to you, Akadi, you bring peace to the body of this man, and purge from within the disease that tears apart the beauty and tranquility of nature. Like a storm, will you blast away all that is wrong and leave the tranquility of the clouds, the tranquility of the sky inside. And I'm going to cast Lesser Restoration on Constantine and see if that helps.
Okay.
You're very
lovely
much like our
speech,
canary.
It's a lovely speech. But let's hope this works, because there's 2 other people that are pretty fucked.
Don't worry, my sweet prince. Constantine is acting like our canary in the
Here's
cage.
a little guinea pig, yes.
I hope it
Little
doesn't
David
hit.
guinea
Fuck,
pig.
that didn't crush you, man.
What I was thinking more is that if you cast this spell and Constantine eventually does then explode later on, we know it's not been successful, and we can search other remedies in his name.
We will have a couple of days on him. That's good.
Okay. Constantine, you got... Okay. Cirrus sort of channels his sort of divine and talks to his divine God and is chatting in that way and out loud and reaches across and puts his hand on you to try to help you purge you of what this might have been. You feel a little bit... You feel like your breath is opened up, like someone who has asthma and then takes the puffer, that sort of feel that they can breathe a little bit easier, which has been bothering you a little bit since Feven exploded in your face. Interestingly enough, that feeling that you had in the chest came from that moment in time. Cirrus, if you read a little bit as well, you can make a medicine check to see how he's feeling. He does feel that and can let you know that there's that sense. Okay. Asking Constantine about how he's feeling afterwards, and then also knowing that the rest of the group also pretty much had experienced this, including yourself. You'll notice that you're feeling incredibly full in your sinuses. Your ears are ringing a little bit in this moment in time. You, Cirrus, a little bit less so than Emmanuel, who is really feeling quite clogged. Garavid at the moment is typical man flu like level of sick at this moment in time. He is dying effectively. He is struggling to get off the ground this morning. Dragons probably have more different cavities in their long noses of the sinus, and these are just clumped up fully in there. And Constantine also still has that feeling even after this. The lungs are feeling better. You probably with that roll get an idea that by being blasted in the face direct by these larger creatures, this probably will take a little bit more than lesser restoration to support. But that initial phase of the breathing it in from Fevin, you've probably managed to support. Fevin put a few notes down. I'll let you sort of take some time to read that over a period to see what might help.
Nice one.
Let's say.
Serious.
But gathering something more than lesser restoration would do this.
So there's no information in this book then, Cirrus, about where the next cave is then?
Map or anything.
Is there?
Is there?
I don't know. That's Mark, is there any? Is there out in the book about the next cave, about what might help?
Yeah, so Constantine has previously read the book and worked out which cave was closer and where they are in relation to each other. So with his scout background, would be able to guide you in the direction of the second cave. In terms of any more reading about what might help in this situation, you've basically got a bit of some symptoms written in the book that talk about the breathing problem. Does talk about a little bit more thickness in the sinuses, and then really the lethargy element, and then this exhaustion element that comes there, which you know that Garavid sort of really is at that level already. And
Am I still exhausted then? I thought I might have lost that with a long rest.
Surprisingly enough, you've woken up and you're feeling even more exhausted than when you went to bed the night before. So it's I don't know whether you've ever had sort of glandular fever, but it's that sort of thing that even after you've slept for 14 hours, you're actually tireder when you wake up the next day, sort of thing. That's where you're at this moment in time.
So I'm still,
Garavid.
am I still level 1 exhaustion or?
Level 1 exhaustion still, because of the long rest. You could probably imagine if you don't rest a bit, you might be starting to feel a little bit more lethargic.
Lesser restoration.
Fevin got
fatigue, unfortunately.
Yeah, Fevin got to that point where she had sort of written the number of days when people had left, what they were trying to take, but it's a little bit vague in this level. You're probably expecting from what you've read at this point in time, this is beyond sort of your skill set combined at this moment, and you might need to find someone who can help.
Yeah, a sort of greater restoration level cleric, for instance, or
for argument's sake, it could be more in that direction. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe, but That's where you
We
would
should
have
see.
got to.
Well then, Consti, lead on, my good man, to the next
Indeed.
cave. Adventure awaits.
I'm sorry I can't help you more, fellas.
It's all right. I'm feeling.
That's okay. In your book, Sarah, does it give any indication of length of duration between being like our sweet prince here and exploding like an overripe watty melon?
Yeah, I think there
That's,
was, wasn't there? Because she had quite a long one, but she had it written down for the other two was a bit shorter than hers.
It wasn't here when you spoke to her, so I don't remember myself.
Yeah, so where you would remember that when you looked in the book, there was a number of notches next to it, and the other people in the book had more. I believe it was 40 and 39 or something, and hers was less in the numbers.
Oh, right, it's the other way around, was it? Okay.
Yeah. I
And
believe.
Woody, had the body that we saw in the lake or in the little stream is that also likely bloody, or was that just a body?
You had done some looking. I believe that Keith had looked and seen that this seemed to have the similar sort of patch and some elements that were similar to what Feven had before she burst.
So are we all happy, gentlemen, with the next cave, or do we want to seek treatment? Do we think we've got enough time?
Treatment
Or should-
might be in the cave, right? Is that what we're hoping?
I think the cave might lead to clues,
Yeah.
because that was the original hypothesis.
Was
that
it? I missed that session. You
Yeah,
see, he
that
says
they
out of
might-
character.
I
Okay,
don't know.
fantastic.
I don't know whether it's clues or whether they're certainly from the source. We might be able to
Fantastic.
find.
So in that case, should we try and leave some more creatures alive, as they might
let's
actually?
not
If they're
too
sentient,
hasty.
if they can talk to us, then we can,
Very, very good.
torture out of them some sort of cure.
Because I think we have various ways of making people talk between us.
And we have ways of making it all. Exactly.
Now, I wonder
Toad?
again, and it.
Sorry.
I know you don't see me. Sorry, Seema.
Okay, go on.
I'm not always the most expressive of people. Would you believe? I wasn't known for it in my homeland, but again, if I might look to the skies and see if we were to put the cave to one side for now and instead expressly try to seek someone, a healer, perhaps, who might be able to help us with this affliction that really is taking a life from us, especially yourself, Garvin. To not go to the cave.
Where would
until
we start,
sort of
though?
decide.
That's the thing. Where would we start?
Well, if you will give me 10 minutes to place my shield down, put my hands on my shield, and look to the sky, and say my prayers to Arkady, and ask, would it be a good thing or a bad thing to take this course of action, and cast as a ritual augury,
Ooh, okay.
to, now how do I put that in? How do I share that in? Right.
Yeah, that's the interesting one. Yeah, I was looking at that as well.
Yeah. So if we don't go to the cave and instead go looking for a healer, and that's what we do instead. Don't go to the cave. We look for a healer instead.
Mm.
Will that work out well? Will it be good, bad,
Okay.
good and bad, or neither? And if I cast that as a ritual, it won't take up a spell slot.
Okay.
Now you're asking.
Um,
I'm ripping off me mate here who plays a cleric. for
no,
like
no,
18
that's
months.
fine. That's fine. So in this case, you definitely do need the 25 gold piece worth of
Oh
all your
shit!
objects.
Sticks, bones, or similar tokens worth at least
Fuck.
25.
I did not read that at all. Bollocks.
But just for shits and giggles, you do that without actually having the components, I'm guessing.
I will look for them. Sorry,
but-
I didn't notice that.
But just for shits and giggles, because I feel like it was a good thing, roll a D100.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, no. You say this and for like a rabbit jumps across a stream in front of you and take from that what you will at that point in time.
I think it means let's go to the cave. Because
the
a
rabbit.
rabbit jumping across a stream is quite clearly means we should go to the cave. Whereas a rabbit turning into a healer, that would mean we have to go to a healer. So yeah, I think the most logical course of action is we monitor Garavid's condition, and then if he worsens substantially, then we take a more dramatic course of action.
Well, the 68's a bus that goes down the road, you see, so I think
There you go.
we should like follow the path here, right? I'll explain what a bus is another time if I can find it.
I actually believe you guys explained what a bus was last session, so
They're more common than we think.
I actually think that it's now canon in this world that a bus.
Fuck off, car.
And there's going to be two of them will come at once, and we go, "What the fuck is that?"
Is it a bus in this world? Is what was it? A cart with horses on the inside. So the horses are inside, and surrounding around the outside is where the people sit as the horses move forward. It's completely logical. A Flintstone version of a cart. Perfect. Okay, so you packing up from your night of sleep and heading off towards the second cave. Constantine, you were aware of the next cave. It's probably a half day's journey in the direction of where Bear's Run is. I'll just shift it back over to the overarching map for you all to see that idea. So if you're in where the yellow circle is at this moment in time, is where you are on the map, if you can see that.
Yeah.
And the second place, if I don't know whether I've got it, I'll just draw a shape on the map, because for some reason the shape that I'd already drawn is not working. But basically, somewhere in this area, this second yellow square, somewhere in that area is where the second cave is, which is actually closer to Bear's Run, where Keith had spent a little bit of his time. So between the two of you, you should be able to find your way there. But if Constantine, you were taking the lead, you begin your journey towards the second cave. Over the first couple of hours, sort of following back through the trail where you had come through, where the tree plant life creatures had attacked you or sort of ambushed you, trying to sort of hold you off from the cave system, you believe, through those trees in this direction. For the first 2 hours or so, quite a relaxing journey. You had left your cart and your horse somewhere in this entire process, actually back at the campsite where Fevin had expired. If you wished to go and see if it is still there, it would take sort of another, say, few hours to get back there, so you'd add another, say, 3 or 4 hours onto your journey. But yeah, what would you like to do?
So, sorry, how long will it take us to get to the cave on foot?
It'd take about half a day to get there.
Okay.
You'd probably be getting there just after a lunchtime sort of thing, having woken up in the
Do we
early
need the
morning.
cart though? We don't need the
I
cart.
suggest we don't bugger around too much. We can find the cart when we get back, provided the horse hasn't starved to death.
Yeah, we need to get we need to be going on to Bear anyway.
Yeah.
So we'll go. We'll go. We don't want to go the opposite way. We'll just keep going. Either the cart will be there or it won't. And if it's not,
Yeah. Time is of the essence.
we'll get.
We haven't got great form with carts.
No, exactly. We'll get a new cart, and then we'll lose that.
Okay, then you continue on your journey. Roll for me a D100.
Everyone.
Wow.
No, just Constantine. Sorry.
Okay.
Um,
I'm glad I've got that out of the way.
I mean,
anyway.
press it. You got a 1. Just sorry, just Constantine. Okay. You continue on your journey for another hour, heading in the direction. Just make I want to say perception. You make a perception check for me, just to see if you can continue to find your way. Okay, you continue on. So what do you want to do during this journey towards the cave? You've got a bit of time as you're walking along with each other. Keith is remaining relatively quiet towards the back, just
Oh, thank God, I've had enough of that bloody
just
dookie
walking
sack.
along, occasionally squeezing the bag.
Kids are going. Only light here.
I'll say to Prince Gavid, I found this amazing new spell in my book, which I understand now, which I can make people bigger or smaller. Genius.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I've got a funny spell where I can make noises.
Well, that's very useful.
And make invisible servants to go and pull buttons, push buttons, and pull levers and steal things without them seeing. That's quite handy. And
are they all called Dave?
I believe I will call them Dave.
Good.
As will my
Excellent.
familiar be called Dave when I have it.
Nothing
Yeah,
wrong
we
with
both need
consistency.
to find familiar ingredients, don't we? We hopefully keep an eye out for them.
We do. Can anybody smell fire or anything that somebody be making? Making charcoal in the woods.
Yeah, feel free as you're walking along to sort of make a perception check to see if you can get the smell of charcoal as you're walking along.
And as we go.
Oof.
What did I get? Did it roll? I can't see.
Cirrus, according to my screen, Cirrus rolled a 26, trying to smell out some charcoal as going along. Emmanuel, you're sort of busy, just sort of experimenting with the new spells that you had done.
I'm a bit bunged up as well.
Garrett, your nose is so blocked you wouldn't be able to smell it, which is ironic because actually as you're walking along, Cirrus, you will actually not only smell some charcoal, you'll see about 500 meters in the distance as you're looking at the clouds and sort of amazed at sort of the beautiful shapes that they're making. And today they're more amazing than what you'd seen before. It's almost as if all of the nature in this forest and all above are starting to show. There's even a bunny in the clouds as you're walking along. You can actually see a little spiral of smoke 500 meters or so away up, coming up through the trees.
See that over there, fellas? I think you've got to find ourselves some charcoal there, surely.
That would be awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. No, let's go find charcoal. I can't quite see it myself, but lucky you've got those good eyes.
And good nose, because I can't smell anything at the moment. I'm proper bunged up.
And we just need to find an incense seller, and then a herbalist, and then we're done. And a brazier.
I believe Cirrus might have a brazier and some incense.
Oh, really?
Possibly, yeah. Let's have a look. Yes, I have got incense.
Oh, fantastic.
And
Very
a
good.
brazier.
I've got a censer.
A sense. Yeah, it's kind of like a brazier.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah.
can
So
open
I
it
looked
up.
this
You
up.
can have a fire in it.
Yeah, it's an incense burner.
It's a brazier.
A vessel made for burning incense or perfume in some solid form.
There you go.
Is it by any chance made out of brass?
That is unspecified. So,
Let's say it is.
I couldn't tell you what it was made
Yeah.
of.
Looks like brass to me.
Yeah,
Sounds like
exactly.
brass.
Can I just
I
bite
don't
it
know
and
any
go, yeah,
metals and
definitely
things.
brass.
Should we move stealthily towards the the smoke that's rising from Constantine?
You would
No,
assume that the brazier was probably made of brass at that point in time, because I'm making the assumption that that's where the word comes from.
Isn't it because it's very much like a bra?
It could also be. It could also be that. But in this situation, let's just say that it's made of brass. Therefore, it's a brazier. Okay.
Brass.
Yeah. So there's a spire of smoke about 500 meters as you're walking, probably 400. I said meters, so I don't know. 450 yards away.
Do I know anything about forest law or anything like that? Is like making charcoal something you require permission to do, or can anyone make charcoal? Or
you wouldn't know. You could probably ask Keith, who's been around this sort of part, whether this forest is like that, and
I will ask him that very question.
And Keith would just roll a d20, which I'll do for you. And Keith has no idea what the rules are in this forest. He's just walking along. I have no idea. He literally just played music in a
rock and roll band
when in town. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Shall we stealthily move towards this?
Yeah, I shall stay at the back because
burning.
I am the most unstealthiest lump that there could possibly be.
Yeah, I'm not great at it myself.
Okay, go for it. So you're gonna start sort of stealthing up towards this. All roll a stealth check. All right, Garavid, you're at disadvantage there, right?
Likewise.
Yep.
Toe is like the wind.
Okay. Toe is one with it. What I'll do. Yeah.
Toe is the forest.
Okay, and
Keith played a bit of pipes.
yeah, Keith's sort of not paying too much attention as well.
Do you know you're the voice by Johnny Farnham? That's one of my faves on the pipes.
I like the pipes of peace myself.
So as you you're all walking in the direction of the smoke, I assume, as you're at this point in time. You're wandering up, Garavid sort of trudging along, even louder than normal, but he's not really able to hear himself walk at this point in time. Keith also sort of a little bit feeling a bit down. The sort of things happening in the caves, being knocked down and getting back up again. And Constantine, actually, you're also a little bit distracted looking at the map that you had been given and trying to work out where you're walking, not really paying too much attention. And as you're walking up out from the trees, and you're sort of walking down a pathway that's underneath the canopy of the trees, with some spots that are opening up here and there as you're walking along. So it's canopy of trees coming out to sort of small clearing where you see the smoke rising back in under the canopy, opening up again. And you're sort of slowly, stealthily walking through. In one of these small clearing areas that's probably around 100 feet, you would guess, away from where the smoke is rising up, you see coming just out from the trees, three things coming out from the trees. Three creatures coming out from the trees. All two of them quite tall, 6'7", 6'8", coming out from the trees, and one around 5 foot, sort of walking out, sort of slightly beside, just stepping out from there into view of where you are at this point in time.
Are they humanoid? Are they
you're a fair way away, so they're about 100 away from the smoke. You're about 200 yards away from where you are. They're humanoid. They're not like a wolf or something like that. They're definitely
okay.
But we can see the fire that's making the smoke. Is it a charcoal burner or
not from where you are at this point in time?
If we approach gently, friends, you never know any of these folks.
So have they seen us?
Might be healers.
Yeah, I mean, there could just be people making charcoal in the woods. They could be robbers.
So you get the feeling that they know that you're there from the loudness of Garavid walking along beside you. That as you were sort of getting closer, they then sort of step out, looking down in the direction of where you are. Probably don't have a clue that you're there or not, Toe, at this moment in time with that roll. The rest of the group, they at least see this group coming towards them.
Yeah. Tyrus's hammer's behind his back anyway, certainly not approaching in a...
Yeah, should we just walk up and...
Yeah, if we've been busted already, may as well just go.
Yeah, just walk up.
Okay.
Hello, sirs.
You get to about 100 feet away from them, walking up, looking very passive, and actually one of these creatures steps forward of the other two, who are remaining back and have also not got weapons drawn or anything out at this point in time. One steps forward and those of you from Fragilax probably have seen this type of creature before. Garavid, you will have never seen one before. You see this really large, and you put him at around 6'7" or whatever. It's probably 7 foot in total height, and starts to walk towards you. Actually not walk towards you, but more canter towards you. This huge human body, massive muscles, massively built creature with the legs of a horse. As he comes towards you, you will know this as being a centaur that you have heard, most likely only heard of and not seen in your life. Coming out almost a little bit prissy and cantering forward out towards you, hair absolutely perfectly running down the sort of like the mane that would run down a horse, but like perfectly knotted, done really, really well, sort of weaving left and right as it runs down the back. Just bright blue eyes coming out of this darker skinned creature, and just steps forward and stops about 50 feet away from you, looking intently in your direction.
If
Sorry.
I'm from Fragilax Scar, would I know it centaurs are generally good or evil?
You would have heard about majority of centaurs being quite wise, very powerful but quite wise creatures.
Does that mean good?
Sounds helpful.
Yeah, that didn't really answer the question, did it?
I'll take wisdom as a positive trait.
Yeah,
I think.
we
Yeah.
need it.
Feel free, anyone from Fragile Like Scar can roll a history check if you would like to.
And then that'd be good. Like wisdom's
Yeah, okay.
right up.
All right, so Toe, you didn't really pay that much attention. They're very wise and quite massive. Cirrus, I mean, they're not known to be evil creatures. They're not known to really be evil. And actually, the stories you've heard of are being one with the forest, very much going in the direction of druidic craft or sort of trying to protect nature is what you will have learned.
Okay, I will wave at them and say what lovely trees there are here.
The first
Nice
thing
legs.
the first thing you do to a centaur is wave your hand, and the centaur is like rises up into a whatever it's called.
On
Do they
this
have
hand, they
arms?
don't have to. Do they not have hands? Arms.
Oh, they do actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, it doesn't matter. Goes up. Yeah. I'm like.
I wasn't being offensive. Going, look at me with my hands.
Yeah.
Can you do this?
I had
Look at
in
me
my
peeling a
I
banana.
had
Look, I'm
this
peeling a
stupid thing-
banana.
I had this stupid thing in my head. It's just like a mermaid, like
Yeah,
but with
yeah.
no arms. Like anyway, whatever. Even mermaids have arms. That's fine.
These things, sir.
But either way, this you wave and this centaur in front of you sort of rears up in a impressive show as rears up, and then sort of does a wave back, a little bit Queen's wave back, and comes back down again, and then turns and walks back towards the friends, sort of in an inviting, "Come with us."
I never turned down an invitation, and they've come from obviously the same direction as this fire. So
Yeah.
I think we should go with them. What possibly
Yeah,
could go
I'm
wrong?
quite happy with that.
Happy to follow, eh?
Yeah, we'll follow that with
These wise, magnificent creatures of the forest,
Aye.
and
They're
we've
known- they're known
only
for it, Gareth.
given nature the utmost respect the whole time we've been in the
Well,
forest.
Would I have come across? Would there have been any stories written about them or anything? These fantastical creatures that I might have read about in the palace library or anything?
You didn't really spend a lot of time in the Paris library.
True,
The
to be
Palace
fair, I was
library.
getting
So,
drunk and fighting,
roll a history check. See if you've heard like any tales from people coming through your
Everything's
homeland.
on disadvantage because I'm knackered.
Yeah. So no, I mean in the streets of Gazarath where you're from, you didn't really spend a lot of time listening in on those stories. You were too busy trying to find fun and bars to go into, sort of these sorts of things. So you really haven't heard any of these fanciful tales. Plenty of others as well, but no, and not at this time.
They seem quite proud. I think we treat them with a certain amount of respect and decorum. They seem quite proud creatures.
We'll
I've never
pander
met
to
one,
those
but-
egos.
Yeah.
Hey, never met one, but curious.
Anybody who goes rears up to wave like a queen.
Is that how the Queen raves? I've never seen her rear up.
I
Maybe
really
she did
don't
when
want
she was
to, either.
younger.
Oh.
Hey, can we make out with the other smaller creatures?
You want to make out with the other
Make
smaller
out.
creatures?
I want to make out
More
what it
chance
is,
for that one.
I want to make out what it is, and then make out with it.
Yeah.
Not even going to ask.
I'm just like,
You
no,
leave this to tour, fellas, and we'll come back.
I'm pretty bored with that kind of stuff.
no, you're not allowed to.
Please.
There's not a role for that. You're not allowed to do this. This is just
There's a whole book on sex in like 3rd edition. If you look in the trove, there's like it's like fucking 200 pages or something. Like, it's massive. I haven't read it.
It's all right. All of them stuck together.
So as you
Joys a PDF.
as you all join, and this creature, the sort of very large 7-foot, quite a dark, and you see it turn around, dark hair running down the back of the hind leg element, but actually bright, like a pure white hair on top, but there's so the 2 different shades of color. You'll notice that one of the other creatures, as this one goes past and into the woods, the canopy again, the other one turns around behind and is also a centaur going in behind with sort of brown and white on the hide behind, with a brown long hair, not as pristine as the other one, more sort of rugged and hair everywhere, not really well preened. And this other creature looks to be a short, again 5 foot, but very, very thin face, very thin body, humanoid. Looks, you would have it, I guess, from where you're standing, human, elf, something in that direction.
So I think his friend's the bear. But anyway, let's go on.
Hey, let's see what I make of this, eh?
Okay. So you walk along behind, and about 100 yards in, and they're walking along and not looking behind them at all as they're walking along. Just walking, and the one at the front is very much sort of hopping and prancing, like this sort of cantering along as they're going along. The one behind is taking a lot of bigger steps along and sort of quite big and bulky as well. The elven looking creature is spending a lot of time as walking past. It almost looks like they're floating through the underbrush. They're sort of moving so lithely along that you sort of don't even necessarily see footprints as you're following in behind.
Cirrus calls out, folks, said hello, yeah. Can you tell us where we're going?
A hand goes up of the second brown and white one. Hand goes up and sort of looks over the shoulder, and just with a finger to the mouth, just like that, and they move on. They're moving quite lithely. They're not making a lot of sound as they're moving through to where they're taking you, or the direction they're taking you.
I'll also try and move quietly. I mean, are they moving? Like,
they're not moving
speed?
Necessarily stealthy,
right.
but they're not making a lot of sound at this point in time.
Is this towards the smoke that we saw before?
It looks like it's in the direction of the smoke that you were walking before. And so they move along, and then after about 100 feet, you move into this area which opens up into this sort of opening in the trees. The canopy is quite light. There's a little bit of sun shining through as you've got to around midday at this point in time in your journey. And you see this canopy open up. The smoke is coming up through where the sun's hitting the smoke, almost making a spire of light coming down to where this fireplace is in the middle. You see on this fireplace a similar pot to what you now have Mundus in, this pot that you had taken from Fevin's area, sitting next to this fireplace with some nice aroma coming from it, and a cart on the left-hand side with a horse and sort of one cart sitting there, and on the right hand side as you're walking through, another cart, but with no horse at all there, but just another cart sitting on the right hand side as you're coming in. And they move through, and then the small elf looking creature sort of lively moves up and then goes next to the pot and starts to stir and taste, and then adds a couple of sprigs of something out of the belt pocket that they have, while the other two come and then sort of turn
Herbs.
to face you as you come through. And the more pristine looking centaur looks towards you, and almost as if talking inside your head without actually speaking. It feels like this actually they are moving their mouth and actually talking, but it's just so serene, sort of Galadriel sort of style thought in that way, and is just like stands there and goes, "Who are you? Why are you here today?"
Who is she looking at exactly? Or who are they looking at?
All of you at the same time, it feels like.
Okay, I'll pull my deepest, most swishy bow, swish my cloak around that I don't have, and take a foot, put my foot out and take a nice deep bow like I've been practiced. I'm a prince after all. And say, well met. I'm Prince Garavid the Red. Well met. I see you're a creature of discern. How you doing?
Roll just quickly for me. Roll a perception check.
With disadvantage as usual.
Okay. So you see both the two centaurs place one foot in front of the other and sort of go down, where the straight leg at the front sort of almost in a bow with the horse element, but at just almost going straight up and down with their bodies, just looking across you. Well met. But why are you here?
I'll
That's the same
also
question,
take a
eh?
bow and say, my name is Emmanuel Farage. I am a humble traveling wizard and very much honored to meet such magnificent creatures as yourselves. You have asked why we are here. Myself and my friends are suffering from a sickness of the lungs and are looking for a cure. And also, Prince Garavid and myself, as masters of or manipulators of the weave, are also looking for charcoal to help with our magical ministrations.
Digging the weave resets there, Ross, by the way.
Nice.
They look at you a little bit confused. Also make a perception check for me. Okay. So they're both there and they listen in. Just out of the corner of your eye, as you look past the two of them, you do notice that when you mention that you have this lung thing, you do notice that the elven looking creature who hasn't really interacted yet just gives a quick look across at that mention at that point in time. The one with the magnificent hair, and it says, "You don't answer the question I seek, but another question I have. What brings you to the forests of Bear's Run? What brings you to this region itself?"
If I may offer, my name is Ceres Copeland. I'm a cleric. I'm a student of the gods and the skies, particularly the clouds, and we can converse about that anytime you wish, of course. But what brings us here, I believe, and I had to catch up with my colleagues a bit. I was talking to many people in the town about the clouds, actually, but there are problems in nature in caves and being overrun, and we have cleared one cave of some brutish creatures and enabled it to be occupied by the beautiful creatures of nature who belonged inside it. We even found this wee man. Look at him. Isn't he great? Eh? Fantastic. Absolutely. Brilliant he is. And we're seeking to do the same here.
So there are two elements that happen sort of simultaneously. One is the bigger brutish, but with the brown and white on the back, when you point to where Mundus is in this pot which you had taken with you from Feven's site, I believe, was the same pot, right? Looks and just is takes a step forward to look at this pot on the ground. The other one is that you see this centaur with magnificent hair just all of a sudden sort of take a step to the side, where you can then see the elven-looking creature, and takes a step to the side and looks over the shoulder and looks back. You're here to clean out the caves, did you say?
Am I right in thinking that, fellas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll step in and introduce myself and say, yes, we were asked to we were on our way to Bear's Run to help open some supply lines. We started our travels in Newbark, and we were tasked with heading to Bear's Run to trade wasn't getting through, so we were tasked with trying to see if we could open up the trade lines. And on our way, we met a lady called Feven, who told us about.
You met Feven?
We did meet the late Feven.
You see the elven creature move at an incredibly fast rate, as you say, the late Feven, right up next to your face in that moment. Not aggressively, but with a... What happened to Feven?
It seems that she was infected with some kind of spore-like fungus that was found in the caves, and she had time to recount her story and ask us for our help to perhaps remove some of these creatures from the cave, but it seemed the infection she had was too great, and she died.
What? How did she die?
Essentially, in a kind of spory fashion, she kind of exploded.
Evacuated.
And you see,
you must understand when we met her. Now I wasn't here at the time, but as I understand, and I've got her book here if you want to look at it, because this is her writing. She gave the task to us, which
again moves over to you really quickly and grabs the book.
Of course, take it.
And moves away. And what you'll notice is that the very lithe, very skinny, like face features, very, very elven-like, but humanoid at the same time. You might argue half elf in that way, but is just drained of color at this point in time, and takes the book and moves back to where the fireplace is and sits there. The bigger, brutish-looking centaur stands there and goes, "My name is Nautilus. We were sent to help Fevin."
Shite.
You were the relief party. Well, what a coincidence. We're
made
the B team.
Yeah.
Where did you meet Fevin? Was it... And he explains where the area, he basically says, so south from here about 2 hours. Was that where...
Yep.
You found her?
Reckon. Yeah.
It seems roughly correct. Yes.
Roughly, yeah, based on what you said.
And
she was the only one left of her team by the time we got there.
You mean...
I'm afraid.
Let's throw that in.
And you have not found anyone else?
We found a dead body, but then it's
nobody alive
since disappeared.
But we're not sure who it was, but in the caves,
in the cave, in the first
body was seen.
Can you describe who you found?
Not really. It was they were in some water.
You were a floater. That's all I can say.
By a waterfall. We tried to retrieve the body, but
it looks very disturbed at this point in time.
Many of us were injured trying to retrieve the body from the water, but alas, it was too dangerous.
And Nautilus at this point in time sort of backs off and moves across to where the cart without the horse is. The other centaur stands there and, well, I guess you might be hungry from your morning's travels. Join us. It appears you have done a service that we were supposed to do. I only wish that our sister, Fevin, was still here to see this done. We entreat you to join us. I believe that this cart may then be yours, and indicates over to where this other cart with the horse is actually there, having come through. We had wondered what had happened and where that was. You explain many things and raise many questions. Please. My name is Domachos. Because I'm just making up names. No.
That one I'm going to have to write down. Nautilus I can manage. Dom. Yeah. Maybe call you Dom.
Just
or Chops. Chossie.
I'm sorry for what's happened, Dom. Now, your man, your elven friend, were he close? He seems very sad.
Just in the chat of the names there.
Would I pronounce that Damocus?
No, it's Domachos.
You may pronounce it that way, but you're not cultured, are you?
No, I'm not.
If I may, now, our wee man, right? Our wee man mourned us, right? Now your elf friend, he looks really upset. Now, you've been eating here, right? If you take a bit of cutlery that's dirty, give it to our man. You make it look right shiny. Give him a spoon. Make it look quick. It'll cheer him up a bit. Do you think that might help? We smile on his face.
It's done nothing but cheer us up.
Yeah.
Ever since we met, Mundus.
And Domitus looks across and goes, I would like to see that myself at some stage, but I doubt that when you lose such a close and trusted friend, such gimmickry would fill the void.
Be surprised.
Leave him to his moolings at this moment in time.
But while we talk of poison, don't forget that while every rose has its thorn, every night has its dawn. Okay?
I think every cowboy has its sad, sad song.
They do, exactly. And I've often felt the same.
Yeah.
So I know you're a horse, not a...
Nautilus and Damocus, are they wise in the ways of nature, or any sort of healing property? This elf, I can ask, does he know anything about spore infections?
Yeah,
medicine.
Talk to them about what happened.
Has he got any gear?
It seems that we are linked with your dear departed friend, in that a number of us also are we think infected with the exploding spore creatures, and I for one am quite concerned about this.
Yeah. We're going the same way if we don't get help with this.
We want the same things. We dream the same dreams.
Oh God. The half-elven man sort of is flicking through the book. You probably can tell that's sort of half paying attention to the contents of the book and half reminiscing over the book at this point in time, and not really paying attention. Domitus, having sort of indicated the cart, has gone over and has put a hand on the shoulder of this young half elf. Nautilus turns around from where he'd gone to the cart and comes back over to where you are, and sees that Constantine has the map out, and sort of says, none of us are healers. We are here to help with cleaning out the caves. That's why we were sent here, but did not know that it was such an urgent rush. I fear we paused too long.
Fellas, before you start feeling bad, you wouldn't have saved her. You wouldn't have saved your friend, and the caves are cleared anyway. Don't be
dead woman walking.
But there is one way I think that you can honor the memory of your friend, is by preventing any more deaths, such as ours, from the spore creatures. Would you assist us or help us to find some way that we also don't suffer the same fate as your dear friend, bearing in mind we suffer this fate because we assisted your dear friend while you were doing whatever you were doing?
What
I'm not going to say that. Not going to say that. Whatever you were dawdling around doing, whatever you were doing.
Procrastinating.
Prancing about.
Doing your hair.
Started it on your fire.
Jesus.
Sick.
He sits there and
I'll just think that in my head.
Tell us.
It'll be nice.
What you know of this Well, what have you found? What was in the cave?
So what was? Go ahead, please.
No,
No.
please. After you, I please.
Okay, we found in the cave many of these large spore-bearing creatures that lived in the roof. We found a number of smaller creatures that shot spikes at us, and some very quick little small creatures that were very, very punchy. And we also found, trying to hide something, which it did very successfully, a very strange troll-like creature, which we have our suspicions was not actually a troll. We believed it was trying to hide something, but unfortunately there was an unexpected rock fall, which meant that we couldn't investigate further.
Very
in the
unexpected,
cave.
very natural.
Very unexpected.
Yeah, and he
I don't know. I have no idea what caused it.
Don't know. Suddenly, cave in.
We have.
He sort of attacked us, and despite our best efforts, could not.
Exactly. But what I want you to know is whatever anyone else says, he started it.
Yeah,
he absolutely did start it. Yes.
Yeah. Don't listen to him if he said we started.
Yeah.
No, I'd be very surprised if he sort of
said anything.
He's literally 6 feet under now, rock.
Yeah, Nautilus is looking just at you all. When you mention the troll, he looks a bit confused at the mentioning of a troll, humanoid or not. He very confused at that. Troll. There have never been trolls in this forest ever. That is concerning.
These are strange times, my friends. There seems to be trolls bloody everywhere at the moment. There were trolls
we encountered them in Newbark.
First thing we met.
Trolls in Newbark.
I know.
Yeah, crazy, isn't
but
it?
We were told that they were been coming down from the hills and over recent times and
causing no end of trouble.
Yes.
The first time we got there, off the blimmin' ships, what should we bump into but a troll coming the other way? Who would have thunk it?
We did not hear about trolls from the group here. Just about those creatures you mentioned, the plant-like and creatures. Can you tell us a little bit more about these creatures that come from above? We didn't hear about those.
I mean, basically, they were very fragile. You'd only basically, you could throw a dart at them and they'd blow up. But if you were near them when they blow up, being caught in that cloud is so toxic, it's so noxious, and unfortunately between us, we've been caught in that. And we're all suffering. I mean, you can see it with my friends here, and I'm heading the same way myself. I'm something of a healer myself, but my capacity is very limited, unfortunately. With great regret, I could not really help my friends from this. It was a veneer of assistance I could offer. Nothing more. It's clearly, it's in the airways, it's through the body, and they need something more than this. I do not know what help they need.
I can feel it in my fingers. I can feel it in my toes. It's everywhere.
Absolutely. Shits us all around me. They're almost like an alive trap. You touch it, bang. And this straw was terribly rude, by the way. I know that's in a bit of an aside.
Unnecessarily short with us.
Yes, I thought so.
Yeah.
At this point in time, the half elf who's now got to the end of the book looks up at Domitus and sort of whispers something that you don't hear, but she goes over to Nautilus and they move off to the side. Turns to you for the first time and actually, other than coming over before to get the book or to would you sit down, please?
Certainly. Sorry for your loss, my friend. It seems to have hit you very hard. Very hard. I don't know what hard means.
Hard.
Very hard. So it has.
Yeah.
It felt very horrible and hard at the same time. It was hard. Hard.
It's like my.
Oh. All right.
Could I ask just quickly before we sit? How looking at the elf? How did you know Seven?
Please sit and have
yes, of course. But you must understand the story.
food.
Yes, how did you know Seven?
You would say that she was my sister.
Can I say then in Druidic, again, how did you know Seven?
Druidic as a language? I do not know. She looks at you. Sorry you misunderstand. I mean my sister. My parents, her parents, brought me in when I was very young.
My inside check that?
You can. Very much telling the truth.
All right, in that case, I'll sit down.
You poor lass.
I say, oh yes, you look very, very similarly raised.
We are from the same group that look after the forests. She was always headstrong and always went out when there was danger and tried to help the town of Bears Run from the encroaching forests. I'm sure she told you of her work. When she left, we didn't agree that she should go. I told her to stay and she wanted to help. I should have been with her.
Yeah, probably.
I said, don't beat yourself up. You know, you can't be there for everybody all the time.
When you couldn't have helped her, honestly. I'm sorry.
Otherwise,
for that.
then you both would have been dead. And imagine that. That'd been worse, wouldn't it?
Wise words.
Why did you come into these forests in the first place if you met her when you were here?
Pure chance. It was raining. We were looking for somewhere to shelter from the rain.
And where were you headed? To Bears Run, or?
Yeah. That was our plan. As I said to your centaur friends, we were tasked to see if we could open up the trade lines between Bears Run and Newbark.
The trade lines,
I think,
between Bears Run and Newbark via the water and the
Wait, no,
sea.
Not Bears Run. There's run the other place.
The other place.
They all sound the same. What's the other one called again?
It doesn't have a name. The farms to the south.
The farms to the south. These ones, yes.
The farms to the south by Anos Namtar is the farmer's name. Okay. Anos, we have also been struggling to get anything from those farms for months. Bears Run, however, is quite well supplied from the water. It doesn't affect us so much. So, where are you headed now? Why are you making your way in this direction, away from...
As we explained,
thinking.
Since our detour, we've been infected, and this has taken precedent. Because we've seen how your dear sister exploded after getting infected, and we kind of want to avoid that.
I would hope that, or let's say prefer that you use some different terminology than exploded.
As literal as I can get.
If possible.
Your late sister.
I'm sure that is describing her personality. Cast thaumaturgy on the flames to brighten them and bring a sort of like whiteness to the flames to sort of show a kind of...
Make a deception check.
Kick her ass. Yeah. Conjurers.
She was always very explosive in her attitude. You are.
And in her lungs and chest.
all in the spirit, man. All in the spirit.
Oh Jesus. My name is Moss. You said that some of you are more infected than others.
Yeah, I'm proper infected. Proper infected.
How far away was this other cave that you were going towards?
Half a day.
Not far now. You should, should only be an hour or so away from where we are now.
I would.
Oh, the new cave or the old cave? New cave.
The new cave.
Yeah, come with us. Have you got any herbs, by the way? Saw you putting some herbs in your food there.
These are just regular cooking herbs.
That sounds fine to me.
Rosemary, thyme,
parsley, sage.
Yeah.
It's all right. We're not after the smoking herbs. It's fine. But if you got some of them,
take the edge off.
For trying to help if you need herbs,
charcoal.
I don't have much more than what we. When you go to Bears Run, search out Griswalder. Griswalder has a nice sort of exotic herbery in town. She's on the second level down. You'll be able to find her.
Uh-huh. And you'd know her very well if we were to mention your name.
She
Inspector
provides.
Moss, would we get a discount?
Provides
a family discount.
She provides. Yes. Mention Moss the Young. She will help you out.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
He turns towards where Keith is sitting on the side and looks a little bit with a sly grin on his face that changes sort of the mood a little bit from where he is and goes, "Oh, huh. So that's where you went." Interesting. Maybe we can chat later, and then and goes back to sort of stirring the pot. And Nautilus and Domitius come across and dig in with a bowl and pour out, and also pour out some for you if you would wish to have some food. And please eat. Maybe tell us a little bit more about how you're feeling. And there is in Bear's Run down by the fishery, down on the very lowest level, there is an older lady that may be able to support you in finding out what is going on. But I'm afraid to say it's not something that she's a little bit difficult. You may not just get something. Generally, it's always some version of trade for something in kind. Be aware that you may need to do something or give something to support.
Something of a healer.
Yes.
Shaman or such.
So what kind of thing does this lady like to trade?
I'm not as strong as I look.
Her name is Posbild. Because I can, and it's
as good a name as any.
Yeah, no, Posbild, quite often known as Drake.
I think I've heard her music.
Oh, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Shite.
But don't tell her that.
The Drake is the oldest living member of Bear's Run. Has been around for centuries, and no one knows from where she came and why she's there and what her background is, whether she is a sorcerer or a sage or just a crazy old witch. But people go to her for health, well-being, curses, diseases, or just to remove themselves of something that has been troubling them. It sounds like what you're dealing with might be something along one of those lines. But I warn you, you won't get much for free.
That's just life, isn't it? But she sounds like the old sagey lady for us.
I think she does.
The old sagey lady.
Now, what would you say about these caves? Because
why don't you come with us?
Now, I don't know if we need to see this lady first, or we've got long enough to blast out the caves. I don't know if that's going to weigh a bit much on you, Garbid, especially if, the caves can wait. If it gets you back to full health, we don't want you collapsing in there. Same with you, Manny. It's not what we want to see, is it?
And
so
Nautilus will come up as you're having this chat while
it's not Russ.
As eating, and Nautilus will, stands there and says, with what you've told us and the change of accent that I apparently now have,
it's emotional times.
We will clear out this extra cave. From what you've told us, we should be able to do this. I believe you've done enough and have other things. If you want to join, you can join. If you want to go, we feel this is our duty.
I'll tell you what, my dear four-legged friend. What will happen once you've cleared these caves out? Will you come back to Bear's Run? Because I'd be very interested to know what you find in those caves.
We were sent to clear out 2 caves.
Yeah.
And to find the source of the disease in this area. It seems to me, from what you have told us, that this may be just the cause. Nothing was left in the other cave, from what I have understood.
But there were some interesting water courses within the cave. So if you travel deep in the caves and find very deep water sources, I'd be very interested to know. And so that's just why I'm interested to know if you're coming back to Bear's Run, so that when you come back, having successfully cleared out the cave, avenged your fallen comrade, we can maybe have a discussion about anything interesting you might have found.
Bear's Run is our home.
Awesome.
Well, that is very convenient.
So we will.
Well, that's a date then.
Return.
Wait, what? Do you guys live in stables or in houses?
He.
All right, so I like the stream of consciousness. So, do your hooves itch or not?
He
Did you have to put shoes on?
He looks across at you, but before he can say anything, Demetrius turns around and goes, "Do I look like I live in a stable?"
Yes.
Well,
I'm afraid my friend has a slight psychological condition that sometimes he says the opposite to what he actually means.
You are.
do you sleep in a 4-poster bed?
You are incredibly interesting, little gnome.
Thank you. And I can literally see up your crotch right now because I'm like 3 foot tall.
Hey, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Look at the
So-
size of
Do you wear some pants next time?
it.
She looks across at you, looks across at Keith,
We need some got anything.
and goes, "I see. Never mind." And then walks away, and as he walks away, sort of just hovers off and then wiggles the arse as walks away while you're still looking with a thing, and then just walks away from you and Keith with a wink to Keith that you will have noticed as she walks away.
I turn to the group and ask, "You reckon they fuck like horses or like humans?"
Why don't you turn into a bear and get stuck in? Find out.
I think that's terrible language. You know?
Nautilus turns around and so some of us do both.
And are you generally the sponge or the stone?
Nautilus sort of rears up on his hind legs and then back down again, and you are quite aware that he is the stone. I think which one is which. Anyway, he makes Garavid look tiny based on our previous conversation.
Yeah.
He has a very strong arcane focus.
Mate,
if you're the wide receiver, you're the sponge. But there you go, for future reference.
Good to know. Anyway.
Right, let's see this our lady. I worry for what she'll ask, but
I think whatever she asks, it'll be well within our capabilities.
Maybe some sort of an adventure to go and get whatever she needs.
Despite what I've just said about language, I think if we don't see you, we're totally fucked. So
I absolutely agree, and I think strong times need strong language. Do any of you want to mount either of these centaurs, or shall we get on our way?
We've got our cart back now.
I'm not sure how to answer.
Yeah.
It's a straightforward yes or no question.
I'm happy to walk.
I'm happy to
we've got a horse. We've got a horse and cart now, so we can
Then the world is our oyster, dear Constantine.
Shall we?
I wanted to see that second cave, but
We wanted to see what was under the rocks, Garavid, but in either of those times, fate has taken us in a different direction.
maybe we can come back.
Yes,
We can always come back.
If we hadn't got one in the face, then we may have had more time. But one for myself, I suffer quite a lot from chesty coughs anyway. So, I think it may be worse for me.
But Constantine was always the ticking clock anyway, so...
Well,
I'm still ticking. I'm just not ticking as
mushroom
loudly.
splatters all over you.
So-
There's not a lot you can do about it. That's so...
Garavid, as you've sat down, make a Constitution saving throw for me.
I'll teach you.
Yeah.
Too much talking. Where is it? Constitution. Yeah. Oh, saving. With...
I love that disadvantage.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. So you take a second level of exhaustion.
I thought we were going to have a scene out of Aliens for a minute. But
So as you're sitting there, you're struggling to eat the soup. You sort of have that very much wish that you had a movie to watch at this point in time and sit down. Yeah.
Oh, should we get the lizard on the cart then?
Let's get the lizard on the cart and
fucking lizard. Oi, watch it. It may be exhausting.
That didn't need to be a disadvantage.
Saving throws, I don't necessarily know whether they're at disadvantage. Are they with?
No, only because of I was just saying how long till you died, really. But it's only at level 3 attack rolls.
Disadvantage on ability checks. Oh, then that 21 was above what you needed, so you actually are still only on 1 level of exhaustion. So
let's put him on the cart anyway.
Go back to 1. Yeah.
Oh, really? But that was on disadvantage.
Yeah. Saving throws apparently are not a disadvantage.
Just ability
checks. Just ability checks.
Oh, right.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Disadvantage on ability checks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's
Sorry.
6.
Oh, yes.
Six
Level
is the
3
worst
disadvantage on
because you
attack rolls and saving throws.
So you can change that back to 1 level of exhaustion,
cool.
but you are still struggling to eat that soup even at that point in time, and it is quite tiring to do so. But you're sort of using your resolve to
don't mean
push,
sound
to
rules,
push
lawyery, Mark. It's only that.
It's all good. I'm more than happy to learn myself anyway.
Where's an invisible servant when you need one?
When I'm trying to kill off a character, you jump in with them. Cool.
You should summon it to spoon.
That's true. I'm going to summon
into your mouth.
Exactly. To wipe my ass for me.
Okay. So what are you doing?
I say we jump on the cart, boys,
let's get the slightly less exhausted lizard on the cart and get out of it.
Head into town.
Still not a lizard.
Wow.
So as you're getting the cart set up, Moss.
Did we get that book back from the elf?
So glad that you mentioned it. So Moss actually will come over to you as you're setting up the cart. Moss comes over and hands over to you, Toe, the book and says, when you get into Bear's Run, be a little bit more cautious with what you say to who you say. Go to the forestry quarter, the guilds up the top level of the city. Hand them this book if you can. Talk to Arun. Arun will reward you for what you've done. And when show the last page of the book, I've written a note in there to pass on. When we return, we will have a commiserating drink together at the Fisher's Nip Inn.
That sounds fantastic. We wish you good luck.
Please be careful in Bear's Run. It is a beautiful city with not so beautiful people.
Where was this again? A run in the... Is this the Druids Guild?
So, it's where the Druids all are, the Forestry Guild. She called it the Forestry Guild. You'd also assume it or associate it to the same Druid Guild that was there. They weren't all Druids. It was just that majority of the Druids helped with the forests. Arun... Yep.
Like your distance from those mushrooms as well. They'll break easy, but break them
she writes the full name. So Arun Valtana. There you go. Is the name. And
which Greg may pronounce as Aaron.
Yeah.
Balthana.
He's like, is that made-up name spelt correctly?
That's a great name.
You haven't pronounced that made-up name properly.
It's Kylie with a Y. Yeah, but which one of them? Okay. Yeah. So then says basically that, and wishes you well. Nautilus comes. Nautilus actually now has their cart hitched up over his shoulders. This giant sort of centaur, and has their cart hitched up over the shoulders. And Moss goes back and vaults up, almost hovering up onto where the cart is, and then sits down and looks a little bit despondent. Has Domitius picks up the sort of big pot that actually you now will recognize that these pots look relatively similar, and puts the pot back onto the cart, and then they walk side by side, and wish you well on your journey from there. You can feel free to follow them if you wanted to, or continue on to Bear's Run, whatever you would like to do.
Before we do that, I'll just check that they haven't swapped pots, and I'll check that Mundus is still in our pot.
Mundus is still in the pot.
Gonna say, otherwise they get fucking...
Otherwise,
Eldridge Blast.
Yeah.
This was all about stealing Mundus the entire time.
The whole thing, I would be devastated.
I think Mundus would be a good trade for our house. I think that.
No.
Right.
Sorry, that was very defensive.
Mundus is non-negotiable, mate.
Yeah, I took that a bit personally.
Should we?
As they're
is the charcoal on this fire to pick up?
As they're setting up,
we need 10 GP worth.
As they're setting up to leave, Keith will come over to Toe, and or to all of you, and just go. I think I should go with them. I didn't get blasted in the face with any of this stuff, and I feel like at least I can help them know where to find and where to look.
Unless I can then get blasted in the face.
Yeah.
Or Nautilus looks like someone who needs help blasting in. Anyway, and he just says to you, when you go into town, if you are looking for a couple of places that will take you in before going, Fisher's Nip might not be the perfect place to stay overnight. There is an apothecary in town on the second level, Baltius. He knows me quite well, and there are some rooms out the back that can support you. Just mention me. I'll come back with the rest and meet you.
Fantastic. Have fun.
He obviously
tell me about
he obviously says that in Keith's voice at that point in time. Yeah.
Don't suppose you know of any jewelers in town, anyone who might be able to trade Gemstones are not desperate for him right now, but I feel like it come handy.
He says, so Keith will let you know that there is a general store in town. He hasn't been in there, but he knows everyone talks about it. That might be the place to find those sorts of things. But you could also maybe ask more people in town, see what you get.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just noting a lot of like cleric spells at level 3, and they're on diamonds, or diamonds that have been crushed, and all this fucking stuff, and it's like,
diamonds inset with emeralds with tiny sapphires.
Oh yeah, it's just like at level 4, it's like 500 gold pieces worth of diamonds crushed that get consumed in the spell, and it's like, thanks.
What happens for that? Do you turn into like a diamond monster and kill people with laser beams out of your eyes?
Some of them are just like, that spell's all right, and that's what you've got to do for it. And it's like, other things like Revivify for like raising the dead and stuff. There's some like,
that's all right. That sounds reasonable.
And that where it's like, there's things where it's absolutely worth it. Thankfully for Fireball, that's nothing of the sort. It's just like, you can just keep on burning. So
off to Bear's Run then.
Yeah.
Okay. So the others, they head off. Do you keep the map, or do you give them the map, or have you?
They know where they're going, don't they?
Yeah, they've had a good look at the map.
They don't know.
They know the forest.
Okay, so you give them a little bit of a direction to go, and then keeping hold of the map, you go to ride towards Bear's Run. Okay. I will quickly go and take a toilet break, and I will be back.
Excellent. It'll give us 5 minutes to talk about you.
Go for it. I am more than happy for it. I'll be back in a moment.
For it to tell us about Matt.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I had to make sure you get a nice straight answer out of somebody.
Yeah.
Right, Dave.
Give your best to Lol, by the way, Russ. Just cause
I will do. I will pass that on.
Hope she's safe and well.
Yeah, she was. Apart from, she had to confiscate our son's tablet tonight because I think they've been watching pranking stuff on telly. So he had put a bowl full of water on the door frame. So when you open the door,
classic.
Yeah, exactly. It's a Stone Cold classic.
I would not appreciate that.
It was not appreciated.
No,
fair. Appreciated.
Did it fall off though?
He was grassed up by his sister.
Nice one.
Standard.
Yeah. You know what I discovered yesterday, right? When my sis was 5, this is like 31 years ago, she broke like some like china crockery thing, right? And put the remnant in me like bedroom drawer to frame me for it.
Nice.
I was like, you fucker. Do you know what I mean? That is younger siblings for you.
Sounds like your sister is my sister.
Is she a younger sister, Greg?
Yeah.
In it, you know. I was just like, I can't believe you've done this to me. I just think that's awful. I think when she started going out to town, whenever she was hungover, like, I'll bring her like Coke with ice and be really supportive, give her these like heated up and everything.
And yet that bitch had put broken cutlery in a drawer in an attempt to frame you.
Devastated. Absolutely devastated.
That's all right. If she ever commits any crime, mate, you should just go straight to the police.
I will. And if I ever commit it, I'll also go to the police and say it was her.
Yeah. And then she can spray riches of grass in the underpass near us as well. That'd be nice. It's great. We have an underpass near us where we know who the latest police informant is, because they always spray it up on the underpass.
Oh, that's handy to know, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's
Where's
good.
that?
That underpass that goes over to the rocket end of stuff. So just up where it goes onto the M62.
Yes, I'm not surprised. Yeah.
Every time we've walked through there, that'd be like sprayed out by or painted over by like the police or the council. So it'd be blank is a grass. But if you get there quick enough, you
under there at night when it's dark, and I don't particularly wish to change that. It just doesn't seem.
Indeed, it's not inviting. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's one of them. Like, I don't really like walking through it in daytime, particularly.
But particularly if your name is sprayed up there, that makes it even more.
Which it hasn't been to my knowledge. Like when I used to ride my bike through there, it's like that used to test like that sort of cycle and ability just to like ride like that, to be that swift through it. It's like I just feel like I'm gonna get stabbed over this like 20 yards.
Yeah, exactly. Run the gauntlet of Grass Alley.
We used to have a dog poo alley. That was as hardcore as it got around us.
And that people would just throw dog feces at you as you walk past.
Yeah, it was a toilet, you know.
Well, where I used to work in Liverpool town centre, the car park there was literally a toilet, used as a toilet. So you'd often find human poos by your car.
Wow, where's that?
Oh, that's lovely.
That was London Road.
Yeah, fair enough. Don't know it well, but it's quite druggy-ish around there, I think.
It's quite a lot of people like to have cider for breakfast, nice. and apparently that helps you open your bowels as well.
So, if I'm ever constipated, I'll keep that in mind.
But a bit of white lightning at 9 o'clock in the morning.
I've only ever had that once, and it's like that is the most disgusting drink I've ever had. I don't think I've done worse. Like. Yeah, I think I was like 18 and we had like, I think it was like 5 of us and we had about £9 between us. So it's like, what's the cheapest thing we could get?
You're talking about cider.
Yeah.
I can't stand cider.
No.
I love
even
cider.
Like, it always has the same like
lightly.
horrible aftertaste. And even if like the initial taste is like quite nice, it's like, it's still rank. It's still even a horrible taste.
I used to love apple cider as a kid, but I don't know whether the alcohol version.
But even now,
but the alcohol version never did it for me. All right.
It's grim.
So
I can't wait to have a pint though. To be fair, it's just rather fun. So can't wait. Yeah, no pub like
with ice in it.
Ice in the cider. Yeah.
Yep.
So with
that was that cider farm you went to, Rich, wasn't it? Where some guy had sunburnt a penis onto his back for a laugh. He went to Somerset.
Wow.
So people were drinking scrumpy cider. I didn't go, but Rich and another friend of ours, Simon, went, I think, wasn't it? And he was just there happily sunburning a penis onto his back just for giggles.
As you do.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do.
Wow.
That's
cider.
Into the gag. That's impressive.
Ironically, sounds like a cock.
Yeah. I mean, you would want to.
I'm just going to sort my son out.
You would want to earn. You would want to earn something. You'd want to earn something out of such a situation.
You would, wouldn't you?
You might get another drink of cider from the landlord. That's funny. That is. Have another cider.
Did you catch any of the cricket today, Rich? By the way.
No.
Proper embarrassing for you guys, right?
It's like
again.
It's like the last test. It was like I just thought, you've just made it really spinny, so no one can bat on it. And it's like, actually, it's like if a bowler can like break. So all I saw of it today is pretty much like India's innings. I saw about like 40 minutes of them just like belting fours everywhere, and it's like, okay.
I just saw the scorecard, which saw like England scorecard like 0, 1, 12, 4, nothing like that.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. It's like great idea to pick 4 seamers for it. That's worked well. Like, but it's one of them. It's like
112 all out.
Yeah. I haven't really got a spinner like Monty Panesar, even who's like, if you could just put it on a spot there, you're going to build up pressure. If you've got a spinner who you know is going to leave you a loose ball every over, block the rest of them and just top the other. It's just crazy, isn't it? It's like Joe Root's probably the most reliable spinner in that team. Like, you can put it on a spot if nothing else. Like, it tells a story.
But his bowler 6 for 38. I mean, that's insane.
Is it Axar?
Axar, yeah.
Yeah.
And they were 99 for 3.
I mean, it's just going to be fine. Thing is, like, they blocked it out for ages. And it's like, fine, just absolutely took the feet off that ball. But when I saw it, it was like, it was just bouncing dead. Nothing was happening. It's just like, started stupid there.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It was a good start though. I enjoyed the bit. I saw a fair bit of the first test, and it's like, I'm glad I saw that.
Gone downhill
Right.
from there. Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure I'll get
Yeah,
twatted
did
in the
something.
ashes. So I've kind of just accepted getting belted in the ashes. It's like, it's all right. Gonna happen in it. So we'll cope with it.
Sounds a little bit like watching Australian cricket at the moment, anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
no, very similar situation.
Never know which type of team's going to rock up on each of the days.
I think over time I've come to just enjoy sport, like watching people who are awesome at things. I'm not overly worried if they're great. Like the last Ashes where like Steve Smith, he had back-to-back tests. One where he was like absolutely just killing it everywhere. And the other where it's like, looks like you could just stand there all day and score no runs, but just stay there and just bat for like 500 balls and not look like you're going to get out. And it's like both of those innings are absolutely amazing. It's just
All right. As you are all now heading in the direction of Bears Run, you got given some good directions, plus you've got your map, and you head off to the east towards the large lake that is White Flow as you head in this direction. And you travel sort of down through the trees, making your way sort of in a downward decline towards the water, and you may have seen on the boat into Newbark, you may have spent some time looking out and actually seen Bears Run in its little cove, just as a glimpse as the boats would go past. It's quite well hidden in off the side, but what you would remember seeing if you had paid attention at that moment in time, and you will have heard about this because everyone talks about this city, is how it cascades down into the water. It's sort of on a cliff face area that cascades down. If you're aware of how sort of Cinque Terre sort of looks, if you've ever seen those sorts of pictures, leads its way down into the water. So you're travelling along with the horse and cart. Do you want to do anything as you're travelling the last, say, 2 hours? It's starting to get a little bit darker, heading towards, say, late afternoon, heading into early evening as you are getting sort of nearby to Bears Run.
And different fellas.
I'm having a nap.
Yeah, I'm exhausted in the back of the cart.
Garrett exhausted in the back.
Just enjoying the scenery.
So you come
in
out
the cart while
we
sort of keep watch. That's fine.
Cool.
That would be a short rest, I guess.
Yeah, you have a short rest as you're going in. You basically travel down, and like who's helming the horses? Toe, are you at the front again, or?
Yeah, I'll keep doing what I was doing before.
Okay. So the rest of you resting on the cart in the back, you come out from this canopy of trees almost all of a sudden, sort of getting to the edge of the forest, and you come out into these wide open fields that, as you come out, you see water on the horizon, and you don't see any buildings necessarily. You see sort of some colour a couple of miles off down on the horizon, where it then just goes fields, a little bit of colour, and then the water across as you're riding along. And as you come out of the forests, you get this waft of that sort of sea water sort of smell coming off, or that sort of oceany sort of water, knowing that this is sort of a fresh water that goes into a big salty lake style, sort of, it's effectively an ocean like the Mediterranean Sea sort of. It's like a massive body of water that we're talking about here, and it's that waft of this air, which some of you are used to, and others you're not very used to this smell. But it's quite a refreshing change from the last 3 days or so, where you've been under the canopies of these trees with a very mossy, very dank, damp sort of feel to most of where you've been. Especially after a day of cave dwelling. This is quite an opening and refreshing thing, and the sky is almost cloudless as you look up. Cirrus, you're not very happy, bit depressing, not having any clouds in the sky. And there, as you come out, you drive the cart towards a sort of pathway that you sort of see off to the side, heading down. And it's quite surreal because you don't see a village at all on the horizon. But this colourful area that is a gap between the water that you can see and where the fields are is slowly getting a little bit bigger and bigger as you're riding in that direction. And you start to notice some buildings and huts, quite colourful in design and colourful looking, actually nothing like what I've got actually on this map here. And you come in within about 500 feet of where the first of the buildings that you see, and a couple of people sort of are walking along the path. They're not really paying too much attention to a horse and cart coming into town. A couple of people walking along, and then you just see them vanish in front of you as you're riding the cart. Another couple of people sort of are tilling the fields. Others are sort of picking flowers or sort of pulling potatoes out of the ground, sort of in this area, a little bit of farming. You see a relatively gruff-looking group of people sitting off to the side of the road, looking like they're sort of digging trenches for water or for irrigation trenches as you're coming through. But ahead of you, as you're sort of 400 feet away, you still see people walking towards where the buildings are and then vanishing somewhat on the horizon, sort of vanishing. And you're riding the horse and cart towards this space as you were told to do by Moss and the rest. You're just...
Do you mean vanishing over the horizon or vanishing for them?
Oh, make a as you're riding the cart, make a perception check. Yeah, so you've never seen an entire massive group of people just vanishing all of a sudden, so you're probably making, and you can see that they're walking to a space on the horizon, and then when they get to a certain spot, as you're looking a little bit closer, they do seem to be vanishing downward, like going down in on the steps. So they're not vanishing. They're just sort of all of a sudden getting to a spot, and then it seems that they're dropping off.
They're dropping, they're not disappearing.
Yeah, dropping. From where you were, it looked like they were vanishing, dropping off some version of a cliff. As you move forward and you're going forward, a person, a very scruffy looking, sort of jet black hair, wearing black clothing, steps onto the road in front of the horse and puts his hand up.
I'll wave back.
Halt! Halt!
I'll stop the horse.
Hi, good day to you.
Good day to you.
How are you today?
I'm going well, thank you.
It's a wonderful day, isn't it? What can we do to help you?
Well,
if there's nothing else, we're in a bit of a hurry.
We are in a bit of a hurry.
And he looks across at a mate, like a guy wearing fairly similar clothing, and he's like, they asked me a question.
Listen, don't worry.
Why have we stopped the car?
I know what
dying.
I know what the problem is, right? I'm upset too. There's no clouds, but they'll be back. So
they asked.
So it's all fine. Anyway,
halt.
Nice to meet you.
I was told to say halt.
And you've said it, and you've said it wonderfully, my friend.
Thank you very much.
You've done a very good job.
Greatly appreciated.
Good day to you. Thank you so much.
No, halt means you have to halt.
We've stopped. What happens
next?
Okay.
Just wait. I wasn't expecting to be asked why I asked you to halt. I'm told that I'm meant to
consider this advanced training.
Thank you. I think
you're very welcome. You have a friend you want to talk to us?
Behind him walks a guy wearing the similar black clothing, similar jet black hair. Steps up and is like, "You are allowed to say more than just halt. I just said that was the first part." Gentlemen.
Good morning to you. How are you?
Good morning. I am very well, thank you.
Excellent. Us also. Thank you for asking.
What are you doing on the road to Bear's Run?
If it's not too obvious a thing to say, and I don't mean any disrespect, we're going to Bear's Run.
Oh, and are you here for pleasure or for work? What are you doing here?
We're here for pleasure. And shopping.
Also,
we're here to spend money
as
in your local economy.
As something of a spiritual medic, we're also here for death prevention, which is probably top of the list.
Exactly. My friend here is going to prevent death. He's a religious type.
I'm not going to do it myself. Well, it depends what she asks. But
if you are here for pleasure. That will be 2 gold for each person entering the city. If you were here to work, you can pay that off over a period of time. But as you have said you are here for pleasure, that will be the sum of, it seems,
a gold crown each. Fantastic. Excellent.
12 gold. 12 gold for everyone. 2 gold each person. 2 gold per person. 2 gold.
Now, what are you defining as a person? I mean, because some of our compatriots are quite small. So are they really people?
He's a robber.
Are you breathing?
He's trying to rob us.
Am I breathing? Not at the moment, unfortunately.
I said breathing.
Am I breathing? Yes, I'm breathing. Okay. So is the horse.
Well, the horse will stay in the stables over there, and that will be charged at the stables. But for every person entering this city, 2 gold.
What do I get from it?
I'll step forward and say, well, I'm here for work. So, how about we waive? We'll chalk this 12 gold up, and I'll pay it back.
Okay.
As you said, we won't pay now.
Let Dave pay it back.
I'll pay it back. We'll pay it back I'll sub my friends here.
Okay. Are you trying to persuade him? Either do a persuasion or a deception, depending on which one you're feeling comfortable with.
Both. Come on, let's go for deception.
Ooh, he's a deceitful bastard.
Well, what I don't get. I don't get why you said that you were here for pleasure and
I
you're here
didn't.
for
He did.
work.
He said he was.
Oh,
My
okay,
friend is here for
so
pleasure. I'm here for
you
work.
are
And I'm
here
Better
prepared.
work.
Yeah, and to me, it's very difficult to tell the difference between her. We're here to do the pleasure of work on an old lady who lives here.
It's like a busman's holiday.
Are you here to see? Are you here to see
You know what a
someone?
bus is?
Are you here to see someone in particular?
We're here to see
Article
3
3.
people.
Sorry.
Sorry.
We're here to deliver something to the forest.
You, sir.
People.
You,
Yes.
sir. Please, shiny man. What were you saying?
He's the shady man.
I think
you with the
you-
big plate armor, the armor on you. What are you saying?
Well, initially, a lady called Drake, and I believe she likes it.
He's here to see the Drake. They're here to see the Drake. That's not for pleasure. That's not for pleasure. That's not for pleasure. Yep. That's okay. Just you're here to see the Drake.
Aye, any heads up? A lady, Pausbild, I believe her name.
Also known as the Drake.
Yes. Okay. And you're here to work for the Drake.
Good friends with the Drake.
Yeah, let's say that.
Well, we're good friends with friends of the Drake.
Aye.
No one is friends with the Drake.
Well,
we're not friends with the Drake, but the people we know are related to the Drake, not by blood, but they are related by being in contact with her and doing business with her.
Same page of the phone book.
You know? I mean, you seem startled by this connection here.
No one comes to Bears Run just to see the Drake and also says that they're here for fun.
Fun is taken out of context.
They also don't make money when working for the Drake. They generally give to the Drake for something else in return. So 2 gold per person, please.
Would that not be defined as working for the Drake?
No.
If I come to Bears Run to do something for the Drake,
it would not be.
Then what about this? We're also here to see, and I'll give Cirrus a nudge. What are them forest people called?
Arun Valthana in the forestry quarter.
Oh. You were here to see Arun.
We're working.
That's it. Or a run. Depending on how you pronounce it.
Well, and then the other guy behind. That's funny. Oh, we're Bears Run. Run.
We could be here to the village of Bee's Ear. Possibly.
Excuse me, could we take your name, because I'm starting to lose patience here. This is not a laughing matter. This is not you. You seem to be the ones having pleasure here. We're not having pleasure. We're not here for pleasure. We have business to take care of. We're grown-ups. I don't know how old you are, but we're not here to mess about. So if you don't mind, we'll go forth.
We are paid by this city to stand here and stop people coming into the city and making issues in the city that have been happening. So we've been asked here in jet black clothing to stand out here in the sun and actually stop people. It is not fun.
I don't care what your clothing is. What are your names so I can report you to those in charge of the city? I can report you to the Drake.
My name is Artur. Artur, and this is my friend Bob.
Artur and Bob, yeah?
Bob.
Yep.
Okay, I'll write you down.
Artur
We'll report you to the
Bob.
Drake. We'll report you to those in charge of the city. We'll report you to the Forestry Guild, right?
Arun particularly.
Arun particularly.
Okay.
So if you want to charge us money, then it's going to come out of your wages.
We've come here to help you people.
Okay. Roll a intimidation. Roll for intimidation with advantage, as you're all being relatively intimidating. I'm feeling intimidated, so this is good. I like it. This is good so far. He goes, okay. Just make sure that Arun knows that that she needs to pay us
Yes,
we'll go to her later on.
We'll sort all that out. Don't worry.
Okay. We'll know what we
sort
tell
all
her.
that out.
And if you're lucky, we won't mention you. Right?
Yeah.
You can't take the cart into the city. You will have to park the cart off over there, and then you can. They will tell you how to get into town.
Excellent, thank you,
there.
and your friend Bob as well. You can say Bob's done very fine job.
Oh, Bob did good. Bob did good.
Bob did good. Bob.
Bob.
Sirius stares at them as he walks off with little patience.
Okay, and so you
Sunny
ride.
day, clear skies don't bring out the best in Sirius. You know what I mean?
Apparently intimidating enough. You move off with the horse and cart. Arun, Artur enables you to go on. Bob's still sitting there chanting Bob, 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 Bob as you go. As you look back, you see Artur whacking him on the back of the head, like, you were meant to back me up back there, sort of thing. And then they go and sit back down on the side of the road to do the job that they were paid to do as they got in there. But I guess you didn't kill him, so this is at least a good step in the right direction.
We're making
progress. I report them
progress.
to the mayor, and then I thought, I've no idea there's a mayor in this town. No.
Okay, so you were sent off in the direction of the stables, which is about, say, 150 feet away, with the sort of where people are dropping off around 200 feet away from where you are. So you get sent off to the stables, where you are met by a quite a large, hulking, sort of half orcish man wearing sort of the leather overalls and a leather smock in front of him. It's sort of got horse dung all over him, and very dirty. So the man comes over and he's gone, "How can I help ya?"
Good afternoon. It's a little bit of not only how can you help us, but also how can we help you?
That's a very good question, but how can I help you?
We understand we have to stable our horse and cart with you, and we would love to know how we could help you to do that.
Are you in the city for business or for pleasure?
We are in the city for very, very serious business.
Oh, serious business.
Serious business.
Okay. Well, in that case, that'll be 2 gold for the horse, for it to stable. We'll feed it. It'll take a couple of days, I guess, for your serious business. How long are you planning on being in town?
I could imagine probably 2 days of serious business sounds reasonable.
2 days serious business.
Otherwise, I get a headache.
Can you tell me who your serious business is with? It might help in regards to knowing what pricing.
Our serious business is with Arun.
Arun?
Serious Arun business.
All right. Well, you go to Arun and you tell Arun that I'll take this one off her tab. She'll pay for it, I guess. You'll let her know that when you get there. Tell her Gith was being very, very nice to you. Tell her that that'll be part of the tab business, and that will be great.
That's awesome, Gith. Thank you very much. Do you have some horse manure that needs moving? Because I might be able to help you out with that.
I've always got horse manure to be moved.
Fantastic. Let me show you a little trick of mine, and I will cast Mold Earth to pick up some horse manure from one place and deposit it 5 feet away somewhere else.
It needs spells like tear, shifter in it.
Just for shits and giggles, literal shits and giggles. Roll so you pick it up and move it 5 feet away.
That's what I'm allowed to do, I think.
That's good. That's all right. I like the use of it. Just to check whether you move it to a useful place or a non-useful place, just roll a D100 for me.
I certainly will. Here it comes.
Oh, thank you. That was you can come back. Look, if you can do that, then maybe you don't even need a teller run thingo. But I need that entire pile over there, and there's just this giant pile of manure on the side.
I'm just giving it a quick précis. How many cubic feet of manure?
I
like
don't
a man
know.
at maths.
I don't know. 20 cubic feet.
20 cubic feet. I'll say, do you know what? I can have that shifted in a few minutes, because I can cast mold earth at will, and move 5 cubic feet at each time. Wow. So I'll do that 4 times, and I'll move his poo for him.
All right, and
because
so
I'm wonderful at that.
He goes, well, can you move one there, one there, one there, and one there to put piles out onto the field that's next to.
It'll be like a scene out of Fantasia, but instead of with pots and pans, it'll be with horse manure.
Oh, well, when you see her run, to make sure that you let her know that you've helped with that, and that Gith has been has taken the price. She won't need to pay.
I will do that. Thank you very much, and I'm very happy to be of help. Thank you very much, Gith.
Great pleasure.
Thank
you very much.
A lovely fella, a refreshing change from those 2 wallies out there.
Yeah, but they've got to sit out in the sun all day. That's a bit of a shit job. So
yeah, it is.
And they gave them black clothing.
Yeah, well, it's you'll see when you get into town. Blacks and greys make the place pop. That's what they tell us.
So it's always good to have grayscale in town.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's what they tell us. That's why I have to wear this dark brown stuff all the time, and I'm not talking about the manure.
Feels harsh saying black spoil a town, but
No, it doesn't spoil the town. It makes it pop.
I see. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Well, we should fit right in then, I'll say, as I adjust my luminous lime green robes.
Wow. Well, I'm a man of grey.
So yeah. You
are a man of the grey cloth.
If I may say, you and this bright red, I've never seen your kind around here, but that you maybe want to blend in a little bit before you go too far into town.
Yes, I'm afraid my friend has a glandular condition.
Okay, but just suggesting it's frowned upon a little bit with all the wearing colours thing. Just try to keep it a little bit under your belt.
I might just ask him. Go, why are we not allowed to wear colours? Where I'm from? Colours are.
I mean, I could explain it to you, but you'd probably be better off seeing it for yourself.
Okay.
Look, we got to go.
Should we cover our red friend in horse manure to help him blend in?
Oh, that could actually work, to be honest with you. But no, you probably don't need to go that far.
You don't mind?
Well, if you don't mind, but I guess he will mind. Yeah.
Maybe you could get your invisible servant to cover you in shit.
Have you got prestidigitation as a spell?
Garavid, you were muted there. I didn't hear you if you said something. So you're complicit.
Sorry, I was saying yes, I do mind.
Oh, I just said I only saw you say yes. I could only lip read the word yes.
I do mind.
It was a tacit agreement, but
yes.
Yeah, cover me in shit.
Okay, Gith turns around. So, yeah, well, we're about to shut down. The city gets shut down. Only inhabitants overnight. When you go 50 feet in that direction, when you get, you'll see it when you get there. But there's a little sort of, I don't know, levee sort of thing. You're gonna stand on it and it will drop down. Just when you pull the rope, it'll drop down. But just look, I'll take you with me. and
That's lovely, Gift. Thank you.
He
Thank
sort
you
of
so much.
walks across with you around 50 feet over to the edge, and you see this platform of wood. And as you're walking up there, you can see that the buildings up on this level are some bright oranges and blue buildings on the side. And you get to this levee, and he gets you on there if you're all wanting to join. And then he pulls the lever, and it drops down, and it drops into a sort of like a cave shaft sort of looking like thing where the buildings are there, and then it drops down and it's darkness for a little bit with just some little torch lights that are shining off the side as you're going down. And you get to the bottom, and there's this opening out into this area, so you see out the ocean, and you walk through this sort of now with sort of concrete, stony rock sort of area that keeps the cave that you're in open. And then you step out, and all around you is just bright, colourful buildings, just the brightest of areas. That looks a little bit like, this is not the final version, but I will share what at least it looks roughly like a version I found earlier. Boom. If you zoom out there, you will see.
Oh, fuck me, man, that's immense.
Oh, very nice.
You will see something like that. I found it on the internet, but that is the sort of thing.
Like a little favela, like a little.
Yeah.
So
but
this
like a less deprivation.
So this area here is where. So you would have been up the top area, all the way at the top somewhere, and come down, and then come out of this cave, and be standing on the edge, looking out over the white flow as you're standing there. See, if we're all wearing colour, the buildings don't pop the same way. So, yeah, they won't make us wear different, so that people, when the boats come past, it's all pretty buildings.
It's good they're on brand. That's good.
Yeah.
Right on point.
So you said you were meeting a run, right?
Yes, we're going off to find a run now and start to do our serious business.
Up to the top level.
So
yes.
I know it sucks, but you actually have to go down that thing to get into the city. But then actually you need to climb up some of these ladders and stuff to get to the top level. So you'll find her up there. It's pretty obvious where the building is.
Thank you very much indeed. You've been very, very helpful.
I'll look after the horse.
Yes,
what was your horse's name?
John.
Steve.
Yes, Steve.
Stevie. Hey.
Steve.
Stevie G, we call him.
I definitely knew that too.
Stevie G. Good name.
Stevie G. Or Stevie GG, to give him the full name.
Stevie GG.
Okay. Stevie GG. You all are very weird. Well,
seems like a reasonable name for a horse to me.
No, we didn't choose it. Chose
it. A reasonable observation.
I wish you all the best. And at this point in time, the sun is starting to set, and he goes, "You know what? It's probably a little late to go to Arun. I'm not sure if you have somewhere to stay in town."
We do.
The apothecaries.
Yeah.
Oh, the
second level.
Oh yeah, that's just up there. And so he points up, basically in this direction here, as the second level. If you saw that, did it show up?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Points up there and goes, "Yeah, you can pop up there. Bodius will look after you. Tell him Gith sent you as well. He's a nice guy. He owes me a little bit, so should help you out."
Thanks very much, Gith. You've been more than helper.
Very good.
Everything we say will begin and end in Gith. So
Gith walks across and steps back on the platform, and then pulls on the rope, and it just like starts heading back up again.
I'll say we
Wait,
must
you mean
do the
Marcel is
pleasure
like
of
that?
murdering him before we leave.
Yeah,
It's far too nice.
Fireball.
he can't live.
Okay,
It's a shame.
you are now standing here on the bottom level, and the sun is starting to go down. What do you want to do?
Shall we find lodgings for the night?
Yeah, should we get that sorted out? Head to the apothecary.
Is there any sort of clothing stalls or anything?
So just a quick question as we, because we're at 11:20. So how much longer do you guys want to go for?
I mean, usually personally.
Yeah, you're a very considerate GM. Yeah, I'm. How much longer can you go for? Because
Okay.
I can be spent whenever.
We can go for another half an hour if people have another half an hour or so.
Yeah.
So cool.
I'll probably have to head off, but you guys can keep going a bit
Okay.
longer.
Well, no, let's keep together as a party. I could also probably have a sleep as well. I don't know.
That'd be nice.
So
Yeah.
you,
Rich looks tired. Yeah.
you pop up the steps towards where you were sent by Gith, and can knock or do whatever you want. Go.
I'll knock.
Oh, amazing. I don't know. The door is closed as a thing. Yeah, you knock on the door, nothing happens.
Oh well, they can't be in. Looks like we're sleeping on the street.
Yeah. All right, let's go back.
Oh,
Try and open it.
You do hear some movement inside, but not much else.
Can I walk up
You've
to see
sent us, man.
if there's any druidic markers or something like that written on the door? Something.
No, there's no druidic markings. You walk up and you see this sort of very brightly painted house. Sort of the door shutters, the window shutters are actually closed. Not like a lot of the other houses around in the area. The window shutters are closed, and the door is closed with a closed sign on the door hanging flipped over on the front. But there's definitely sound inside at this moment in time.
Could we knock on the door a bit louder and say hello?
Oi.
Heaven.
You then hear sort of this the noise inside stops a bit, and then you hear sort of footsteps going dot 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 over. Yep, that's right. Footsteps dot 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 dot, and gets over to the door and goes, "What's the code?"
The code.
What's the code? Gith sent us.
Yeah.
Keith sent us. Keith
sent us. And Keith and Gith.
Little slidey thing. Who'd you say sent you?
Two people sent Gith, the horse whisperer, and Keith.
Keith,
the bagpipe player.
See, Bartolus, or what was that guy's name?
Keith sent you. Closes it. Unlocks the latches and opens up the door, and you see this sort of dwarven looking guy on the other side with a beard that's nice and long with two sides of his beard on either side, and he has a black eye on one side but a big smile on his face, and the thing is gone, Keith knows people who love to fight. Come on in.
Excellent. I know people who love to fight as well. I'd love to introduce you to them.
Come on in.
Thank you very much. You must meet Constantine and Garavid. They love a fight.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah. Amazing. Come in off the street.
We're in.
Oh, yeah.
I will walk in.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Come in. And you as you come in, and you were told that this was an apothecary as the shop, and he's like all of the potions and like vials and things are in the room, but you get this waft of liniment smell, as if you're in a locker room before a football match, and you get this smell, and it's almost whacks you in the face as you walk into the room. He's gone down the back, just head down the back. Oh, Keith, I haven't seen him for ages. All right, head down the back. And he sort of closes the door and deadbolts and locks everything again and goes, so, all of you, I'm a bit confused. All of you are fighting.
No, only 4 of us are fighting. I'm their manager.
Oh, their manager. What is this manager thing?
So I basically deal with all their finances. They're fighters. They're not thinkers.
You deal with the finances. All right.
I deal with the finances.
So, question: can you cast a spell mid-fight?
There's no spells. No spells. Well, no obvious spells. But no spells in these fights. But basically,
three fighters.
There are 3 fighters. All right. Which 3?
So the lizard will be fighting.
Dragon.
The small fella will be fighting as long as I think he can turn into a bear.
Nah, no bears.
What else can you turn into, Toe?
I mean, do you mean no bears or no?
No, there's no the. Well, I've never seen it before. It could be funny to watch, actually.
Tonight's the night, eh?
Yeah,
tonight's the night.
All right.
The crowd will be liking it.
So, Keith sent you to come and fight.
He sent us to come and sleep, but everyone seems to be fighting, so.
Oh, I thought you were here for the club. Okay.
Maybe later. Sounds like fun.
Well, okay. Well, I owe Keith one.
I haven't been to a club in months.
I owe Keith one, so I'm happy to deal. I'm happy. So I've got some rooms. How long are you staying?
I believe a couple of nights, probably tops.
All right. Well then. Oh wow. Sorry, I thought you were here for the. That's. But you want to.
I don't know. Does anyone want to fight? I think Toe might want to fight, particularly
if he turns into
a bear. I quite like
to. Is there a purse or something to win?
What is this? What is this fighting?
I can't to fight unless I can be magical.
All right. Well, let's get sorted. Are you okay with 3 rooms? I've only got 3 rooms left.
That's fine. I'm sure my
expensive room.
Okay. There will be a little fee. Are you able to pay a little fee?
Depends how little the fee is.
I'll say
if it's very small.
Friends of Keith, I think we can say let's say 3 gold for all 3 rooms.
And Gith said you owe him some money or something, so he said he'd pay for it.
Oh, Gith said that, did he? Ha! All right. Yeah, I'll have to talk to him tomorrow.
By the way, if anyone's fighting, if you're all right to have a cutman in the corner.
Oh, can't see why not.
I said, I'll do that.
All right.
Well then, motivated.
Feel free to. We'll set you up with the rooms. Maybe after the fights we'll work out that, but that'll be the 3 gold for the 3 rooms. Do that up front, and then we'll work out the rest of it later on.
Fantastic. I think Prince Garavid's servant Dave will pay you the money.
Indeed. He owes me the money anyway. David, pay the man.
Yep, sounds good. I'll just start walking.
And then we'll get it back from Gith tomorrow.
Wait. Don't go down there. Money first.
Okay, I'll give him my last 3 gold pieces.
Okay. All right. Then.
That was easy.
Follow me. I'll
Thank
show
you, David.
Follow me. I'll show you where your rooms are. And he walks down and walks. And so what you now notice is that even though it's a small little hut-looking thing at the very front, that as you start going in, it just keeps digging deeper and deeper, a little bit like a hobbit hole, going further and further in underneath. And he gets to a point and points 2 rooms on the right, 1 on the left are yours. Is Keith going to join?
Eventually, but probably not tonight.
He can.
Tells me he'll be here tomorrow.
All right, he can stay with me.
Seemed very keen.
He should be. A lot of people are keen on seeing him too, so that's fine. Well, some aren't, but we'll get to that later. If you want to come with me, we'll head down into the secret area of this building. And he takes you along and then walks down the corridor, and there's this big stone, like the stone work is quite intricate in this building, like really cool engravings, nothing special other than sort of like I don't know, it's decor style engravings, just for the artwork of it. And he gets to one section of it and then just puts his hand and pushes it in, and it drops down, and then an opening of a room, and then some stairs running down underneath. And as you get down, you start hearing the chants and cheers of people underneath, cheering on with some big smacks and whacks as you're heading down this area there. And you open yourself up in the late evening thingo into a fight club of sorts as you head down.
I'll whisper to Constantine, are you going to be fighting?
We don't talk about Fight Club.
I understand that, but will you be fighting? Okay.
Yeah.
I can cast Enlarge on you to make it big.
So you come down into this area down here with 2 people standing in the middle of the room, just going fisticuffs at each other. One with these 2, and they look like dulled or dampened daggers. They're not really sharp. And the other lady is standing there with wraps running down the arms on both sides, and the guy with the dagger steps forward to make an attack, and she dodges out of the way simply, and then turns around and whacks him in the cheek, and he just goes sort of stiff for a moment, and she turns around and laughs over to the corner over on this side here, and yells out, and he's going, you're going to have to pay up. And then, very much Borat style. Oh, you're going to have to pay up. And then,
very nice.
Very nice. And over to this side on here, and then turns around and steps around the side, and then just goes whack with 2 hits, and then another whack with 3rd and 4th hit. And then basically this guy is just standing there still in one spot as she sort of just dances around and shadow boxes around him, and then turns around and then just does a last whack, and he falls down and lands on the ground, and everyone in the room starts cheering, and people are handing money across to each other. And she walks over to the side over to here, and is like, holds out a hand and gone, you pay up now. And they come over and hand sort of this sort of bag of gold or coin at least over, and put it into her hand, and she opens it up and looks in, seems satisfied, and then walks off over to this side and jumps out and has a chat over there as this guy, they come in and drag him off to the side.
I'm impressed by that bloodshed, I have to say.
I said, Toe, I think you should challenge her to a fight and then change into a bear.
I'd be down.
Okay.
But I feel like that's not enough.
So you get to that point, you see that happening, and I will say, for the purpose of it, that is where we'll pick up.
Very nice. Thank you very much, Mark.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to betting against you in the fight later on, gentlemen.
Well, a quick prayer. You cast Bless. It's an extra D4. on any save and throw, any attack. You know.
I'm happy.
Yeah, got this easy.
I'm happy to go down in the third. If you want to start running a book on it, I'm happy to go down in the third.
It depends what you mean by go down.
I don't think whole person. I just think it's like, it's just frozen with fear. You know.
Feels like. Wait and see what sort of rules apply as you enter the space. You just saw that through sort of this doorway. You saw that happen and then be dragged off. I will let you know what the rules are at the start of the next thing. Whether Keith gets there in time or not, you'll have to wait and see.
I like how we sort of arrived to be saved from this like sort of creeping death, but then it was like, ooh, a fight club.
Yeah. I'm sure we can spare 5 minutes.
Well,
yeah.
Terribly ill, but
nevertheless.
Only got one level of exhaustion. I'm sure we can have a fight.
Yep. You did have the option of saying no. But
where's the fun in that?
Yeah, but I might have just gone to bed anyway. So
there's probably money to be won there too. So that's.
Oh yeah,
exactly. I think Dave needs to bet some money, don't you?
I need some money back.
Yeah.
I've got no money left.
I've got 15 gold.
Nice.
So
put it all on to win. Just put all of our money on to win. Who's fighting?
I'm fighting. It's all I can do.
It's all I've got. It's all I've got.
But it's fisticuffs, though, isn't it?
See, if I could cast spells, I've got 2 attacks around with Spiritual Hammer, it's actually a pretty decent spell.
That would be your good fighter name. And in the red corner, the Spiritual Hammer.
Do you know what that is? So I didn't realise Sammy Hagar's nickname was the Red Rocker, and it's like, that's a fucking great nickname. Do you know what I mean? So you don't play guitar with Eddie Van Halen, it's like, do you know what? Actually pretty handy yourself. Loads of moaning on the YouTube being like, yeah, but he's really shit compared to Eddie Van Halen. It's like, just fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Get over yourself. You can be good without being as good as someone else.
Exactly.
That's how I like to live my life.
Yeah. Me too.
I'm good, just not as good as anybody else.
Yeah, me too.
Good,
it's the
I'm
right
just not
level.
Steve Vai good.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's like you can still be good and not as good as Steve. Do you know what I mean? You can still appreciate.
It's either shit, Steve Vai. That's it. There's
exactly. My mate Andy's a cracking guitarist. He's not as good as Steve Vai.
So
he can't make the guitar literally ejaculate.
Well, exactly.
Which I think is what Steve Vai tries to do.
And he also looks like he's ejaculating himself while he's doing it. And sort of like talking himself through it. And it's like, I don't care. I'd still love to watch him. You know, I wouldn't want him to jizz in my face while he was doing it, but I'd still play it.
It's good to know your boundaries, Rich.
Yeah.
Well, I said take the risk.
Play the guitar, just don't jizz in my hair.
Just don't jizz in my face.
All right, speaking of jizz in your face, I gotta head off, guys.
Okay, very good. We'll leave you to get on with it.
Take care, mate.
See
you,
See
ya. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Greatly appreciated.
As always,
very
mate.
much. Thank you very much, Mark.
Cheers, Mark. Brilliant.
A little bit of a quieter session, this one. So not as
just
many.
Building up for next week's death and distraction and violence.
Not as many dice rolls or whatever, but hopefully that was
good. It's nice to have.
I'm looking forward to 3 hours of shopping next time. We haven't had a shopping session for a while.
Yeah, we need a shopping session.
You may not shop if you don't have any money. Let's wait and see.
I can't shop at the moment. So.
Yeah, we might have just gambled it all away.
You might just need to sell Garavid, and he might be your best bet.
Sell him by the pound or the kilo. A rump. There you go.
Take this guy. He can Eldritch Blast occasionally. It's good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Enjoy.
See you later, everyone.
Sleep well.
Take care,
See you later. Talk to you later.
All the time.
Bye. So, very interesting. Cool session. It's fun, always a lot of laughter. A bit of a quieter session, but that's okay. I sort of a bit of a breakdown, also knowing that one of the characters wasn't going to be there, sort of just to also just go a little bit into the story of what's happening, and thought it was fun. Cool. No, there was no session Monday and Tuesday this week if you were looking for it, but I enjoyed a lot this session. Let's see what happens to the group in the fighting pits. Let's see how we go. All right. Talk to you later.